Alrighty, looking at late day Q&A here for Trade Ideas. Chris Varley sharing mic and screen with you all. Anybody there, let me know. Coming in clear, video, audio. How things are looking, how they're sounding. Make sure that we're coming in good for everybody here. So, interesting day from the market. We start to wind things down inside the last half hour here. Not sure if there was news to cause this or not. A little sell-off there at the end here, coming into the end here. So we'll see what happens. All-time highs, all-time high close. Try to take it out. And it came right off a cliff. So sitting right there in the nosebleed seats, loud and clear on my end. Perfect. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. So I'm just clicking around, looking at a few things. And kind of a dead day from my scanners today. As you can see here, usually this list is a lot more populated. Keeping it even shorter than I had previously, and something I've noticed over the last week, and bring up my sector list, and it seems to be a decoupling of natural gas and natural gas stocks. So earlier in the day, you had nat gas stocks, making moves while nat gas was moving down. And then it went vice versa. Nat gas started to move up and nat gas stocks started to move down. Some examples of that will be our RC. All right, so gap down, made a big move back up and just faded the whole day, never recovered. See REI, that was our trade of the week last week. Same kind of concept. Gap down, makes that move up and just fades the rest of the day, unlike natural gas. All right, MGY. So now I'm noticing this as a trend over the last couple of weeks with nat gas and nat gas stocks. They seem to work in opposite of each other. Kind of an interesting note to make. I don't know what to make of that, but something I certainly noticed as I've been watching a lot of nat gas. I closed out my positions today. I had a position here. This has energy written all over it. Same thing. It looked like it might want to make a break for it again today, but we got rejected right near resistance again. So wasn't sticking around, letting winner turn to a loser. This was from Holly yesterday. Decided to jump on it. And luckily I sold some yesterday because today it was an ugly mess and I got out the rest down here, unfortunately. And so literally paid for the commissions of the trade. But kind of the way the cookie crumbles once in a while. I really thought nat gas would gap up today. It did. I thought it would continue to go. Gapped up, gave it up, and then recovered. But the nat gas and energy stocks did not do the same. They just kept giving it up. You see nat gas extraction right there. So, I don't know what to make of it. Just trade the charts. That's all I can do. And so that's kind of my excitement for the day, really. Other than that, just a typical day around the desk. So, I see a few people coming in, coming out. If anybody has any questions, start to fire them away, please. If not, I'll do what I can to keep you entertained here for the next 55 minutes or so. So pour a little tea here. So some things that were going on here today. So in my evening scanner, I'm noticing a lot of SPACs that came through. This SPAC has been coming through a ton. I'm not a huge person on speculation plays, but Andy's been talking about it. Thought about a position. He took one in it, and you know, made a nice little move today. An odd horseshoe here. I mean, both on both time frames there, intraday. So I don't know what that means for that, but it's coming through the option scanner here. We can see options volume today is insane. At least compared to what it normally would be. Its relative volume is insane, but only 2.8 mil shares traded today. So what you make of that, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what the SPAC is or anything like that. I mean, we can take a dive in the profile, but I don't think it says a whole lot in here. What do we got? Merge, corp, develop stage, purpose, capital, stock, blah, 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 reorganization. So not just your typical SPAC kind of nonsense that's put in there. That's it. So, is it getting warmed up for a real big run like some of these other SPACs have done? I can tell you for sure there's a lot of SPACs been coming through my evening scan. They sit at the bottom of that. So we'll have to see. So sorry, just following along with some chats here. Again, if anybody has questions, fire them away from me here. Otherwise, I'm going to take a dive into Holly. I didn't really look much at her today, other than maybe it was this one that I looked at. That was an interesting one. Yeah. So on the short side here, software publisher doing some pretty solid volume. Enters coming short, 25 or 35.22, and gets stopped pretty quickly here. So entered at 9:39, 37 seconds, gets stopped at 9:43 on the dot, unfortunately. Came and got her out, and then she just faded the rest of the day. It was a nice re-entry alert. And why pound the table? Why, if you're looking for a bot to do all the trading for you, best of luck. I wish you all the luck in the world. But it's just not realistic. That's all there is to it. Do they exist? Probably. Can you make automated bots with trade ideas that work to your own plan? Absolutely. That's the direction I would send you in. But with Holly, I really believe it's man and machine. If you're looking to automate her because you're going to work and things like that, and you're comfortable with the software, you've got an idea of markets and things like that, and you decide in the morning to kind of cherry pick strategies based on how the market's going, I think you could add to your income over the course of time. Over the course of a year, for sure with Holly. But if you think that you are going to, just automate Holly or any strategy and you're going to, count money on a yacht in the Mediterranean inside of a couple of years, just isn't how it works. Any scans you could recommend to help find stocks to short that are overextended? Let's see. Let's take a look here. I'm going to look through my cloud real quick. I'm not a short trader. Not that I don't do it, but not very often. Just don't really have the need to. I think here. Overextended. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have anything like that specifically in my cloud. No, nothing they're doing. But we could attempt to build something. What do you consider overextended, Chris? Let's come to new, and we'll come to alert window. All right, we got our configure here. And again, as always, the way I like to start with configuring the alert window is come to the window specific filters, click hide unused to get rid of the values that are in there that are going to be pre-filled for you. Those values will usually be based on things that you either used recently or popular. Well, I don't know if you're going by Al or AI. It's not so much as a trust in Holly, but In order to be a successful trader, you have to have a trading plan. In order to be a successful business person, you have to have a business plan. You don't just say, hey, I'm going to go do this and do it. When you go to open a business, most people have to take a loan from a bank. You don't go to the bank and say, hey, I'm going to open a business. I got this great idea. This town has no restaurants. I'm going to open a business. They're going to say, great, what's your business model? And you say, I don't have one. They're going to say, you ain't getting anything, Jack. Well, the same thing. When you go to trade, what's your business model? I'm just going to use someone else's thing that they came up with and run it. Okay, well, that's not a business model. Consider yourself both the person that needs the loan and is giving the loan. All right. And if you have no idea about markets, no idea about software, and you're just going to press play on something, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. Now, in a video that I did going over automating Holly, I give you some realistic expectations in it, and Chris, I'm going to circle back to you in 1 second here. But if we come to the Trade Ideas features page here in the monthly AI performance, all right, I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to show you some realistic things to look at here. Let's scroll down a little bit. All right. And you can look at Holly Grail here. Beautiful move. And a nice little creep and a down and a beautiful move. And then she's flat or down. This is not including commissions or any kind of slippage whatsoever in this chart. And she chops around for a while here before starting to make another move up. All right. That's not a short period of time that she chops sideways for. Now, if you had been automating her this entire time, with some reasonable offset spread for that, there's no question in my mind that from here to here in time, you will be up. I have no doubt about that. But, you're not going to, are you going to be making $1 million a year? Not unless you're risking an insane amount of money on someone else's creation. We scroll down to Holly 2.0, okay? I used to get questions nonstop. Can I only automate Holly 2.0? Can I only automate Holly 2.0? Sure, you can enable just her strategies. That's a beautiful equity curve. Boom, boom. But then look at it for a long time. There's no way to know, all right? And then we come to Holly Neo, all right? That's just a beautiful, steady move up this whole way. So there's no question, automating Holly Neo, you're going to make some money. But you can't just press play. Are you going in at a market order? Are you going at a limit order? Are you going to say to yourself, well, what's a market order and a limit order? If you can't answer those questions, you need to do some research before deciding to put money to work in the stock market. I'll tell you that right now. So be realistic. It's a make a decent living slow game, not a make a get rich fast scheme. The other things to note that is you never know what strategies Holly's going to come with. So if we look at Holly today, I'm just going to press OK on this real quick, and we're going to get back to building something extended for Chris. In the strategies today, let's look at what she came with. All right. All right. These are the strategies that she came with. How many of these strategies fired? All right. So, again, realistic, this is what we're looking at. All right. So you got all these strategies here. Trades, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. No trade, no trade, no trade, no trade, no trade. And every one of those strategies. All right. Now let's look at another side of this tape. We had strategies 1 Neo, Grail. Neo, Neo, Grail, Grail, Neo, Neo, 2.0, Grail. So if you think you're just going to automate Holly 2.0, you got one trade in her today. That was it. So there's no way to predict what's going to meet her metrics or anything like that. So, these are the realistic things I like to point out to people. Is it possible to make money automating her? Absolutely. I think you make a lot more money following her alerts as a trader who has a decent eye at charts, though. That's just my opinion. That's all there is to it. Some of her stuff goes on to some really big wins afterwards. I'm going to, here's one that I kicked myself in the pants for closing the trade early. But, this is one that I can never stop looking at. She makes a call on this here. Now, there's no reason to have ever closed that trade fully. Let's say you took 200 shares of that on that day, all right? And then at the end of the day, you closed out 100 of those shares. Look at that move afterwards. And then maybe here you closed out 50 more shares. And maybe here you end up closing out the trade. And even though it does that, look how much of that piece of that pie you just got. And that's realistic, And so, like I said, man and machine. Holly's amazing, but you got to know how to use her. That's, you got to have a plan. You got to know what you're doing. So, all right, that's my 2 cents on Holly there. Fire away other questions you have. Let's get back to Chris here. I guess stocks have been up for a few days, had a good chance of fading off. All right, so let's come back to the configure. Let's go to search. Um, let's see, maybe let's stick with the new high for the alert for the moment and see how this might work. All right. And let's come to search, and we're looking for things that are extended. So how will we find something that's extended? Let's go with a position. Let's go with the position. You're saying a couple of days. So let's go with the position in 5-day range. So let's add that filter, and let's say we want to see it. Want to see it at least 90% above the 5-day range, the low, the 5-day range. All right. So we know we're up. And let's come back to search, and let's take a look. Maybe we're looking at a position in yesterday's range, right? Let's add that filter, and let's say, hey, I want to see it's taken out yesterday. Let's see, maybe let's go with 110. Now, I'm just kind of plugging some numbers in here to see what we get with results. This is how, I usually start with building a scan. And I see what the scan returns, and I try to figure where am I looking good on my filters, where am I looking bad on my filters. So we've got some range filters that are in here. All right. Let's see, maybe a position in Bollinger Bands. Let's add that filter, and I want to see it a minimum of so I want to see it at the top of the Bollinger Band. All right. And of course we want to have some volume in the stock, so in this thing. So let's say let's say we want to see it traded at least 150,000 shares so far today. All right. We want to know it's liquid on the day so far. And, price range here, if we were trying to short, I guess we could go with 5. I think, we want to go a little higher than that. But let's keep it between $5 and $100 for now. All right. And so call it fade the top. All right. And let's just see what we get from this. All right, so last alert came here not too long ago, and that's a strong move. I wouldn't be fading that right now. But let's take a look at the history from today and see what we get. A lot of alerts. All right. Oh, that's a whole lot. So we'll start to go through a few of these and see what we think. And that's not a bad move off that. All right, so we get the alert at 87. Comes all the way down here under $11. Pretty quick move off that. All right. Not too shabby off this alert here. 69.25. Moving all the way down under 69. Silver. Nope. Take a look here. There's a nice one. 38.28. Coming all the way down here. So, we look like we got something that we can work with here. This is funny. I just took this off my watch list. And of course, this is what it does today. It must have been earnings. Yep. How did I know? Should have paid more attention to that. What a move. I keep through. Let's click a few more of these here just to take a look. So, no, that was a big move that kept moving up. DVAX. I suspect this is going to have kept moving up. Yeah, kind of. It's underneath that alert price, but all the same. So, all right. So now we've got a kind of idea that we're working with. So maybe a new high isn't the alert that we want to go with. So come to selected alerts. Let's unselect the new high. Let's move in and let's just see what happens if we go with a new low. All right, on the day. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to change that. Oops. Got to have a selected alert. Because I didn't select that before. Add alert. Select. There we go. And so here we go. And let's run this back on history for the day. We'll let that load today. And is it possible to change the order of channel buttons 3, 4 regularly and always have to search and scroll? No, unfortunately, it's not there. That's all held server side. So we push that out to all of our users from our side. So the only altering of the channel bar is your channels, your custom channels. I think you can have 5 of them is what it is. So let's see, we got this loaded, and not quite as many alerts coming through here as that other one was. But let's start with Coke. All right, coming through right off the open. Well, just curious. Wouldn't trade the open, but not a bad alert. 55.66. It's one of those stocks that doesn't have a real big range either, anyways. So down a little bit, but that's kind of a tough alert to try to take. AZN. That looked nice. You got it, and again, what's extended? Everybody's got a different idea of extended. I mean, to me, that's, an 8 EMA, and it's moved well off of it with this gap up. So it seems reasonable to have a fade there. But again, what's extended? Kind of go over this the last few days. Kind of, keep this one as my example for now because it's recent. I thought this was extended. It came through my evening scanner here. I didn't chase it on this day, and I said, well, this is extended. I can't chase that. And then it did this all these days. So I guess I could have bought it here and done really well. But it was extended to me, but just kept going also. So that's, that is what it is for hindsight. So, extended is kind of a subjective question these days. Let's see, GSK 40. So, the early alert seemed to be okay on it. You got a nice move down off that early alert before it reversed. All right. See here, 63.48. Nope, that was not a great alert. See a few of these later alerts. MQ, this is the one that Holly shorted that she got messed on. So that came in at 130-ish and at 33 and change. So it was already well into the pain down here. So, and then let's see. So maybe we adjust this a little bit. Let's, I don't think there's anything wrong, Chris, with looking for things that are overextended. It's just, like I said, there's no magic scan that's going to be winners on all of them. We're idea generating, trade ideas, not trade guarantees. So trying to put the favor or the odds in our favor between, what we know about trading and charts and then building the scan. So maybe, let's see, position in previous day's range. Maybe we're going to look a little higher. Let's just see what happens if we increase that a little bit. All right. And then I see your question there, AI. Is it possible? Oh, no, sorry. I got you back. Circle back to that one. This is probably looking back. There's probably not a lot of trades coming through this. So yeah, that went all the way back to yesterday because there isn't really anything coming through if I do that. Let's see what else we can mess with here. Maybe instead of a new low, let's go with a 5-minute low. Let's add alert. Swap those. Let's bring that position in yesterday's range back a little bit. Let's dial it back a little bit now. And we'll come to history and come to today. And this is what I do whenever I'm messing around building a scan. I don't build as many as I used to, but I still play around. PVG. Not finding good ones on this one. Let's go to take a further look back, more available. Let's go further back in time. Now, I bet this would have been a good alert. Where is it? GRTS. This one I know because I was watching it today. I have enough price alert, as you can see, set. and got it here would have been a little nicer. And we'll continue to play with this a little bit. If other people have questions, fire them away. Just kind of playing with this to try to find something decent for Chris here that I can share with him, and give him a good base to work off of. Maybe let's see. Let's see what happens here. So, and I just continue to mess with these, and like I said, not quite the same shorting, so I lack as much skill or knowledge there as others may have. Also, you had part of the day where the SPY was moving up for us. Nice little horseshoe up till it fell off. So, of course, that's going to affect a lot of what we look at. And then, Chris, as far as just good for shorting, let me ping Andy here. Guys and see what they've got. They probably have a bigger arsenal than I do when it comes to those kinds of things. But this ended up working out. Range bound gives it up eventually. SUNL. Not too shabby. When you get these smaller ones, BGI, you want to stay right out of the way of that one. You want to stay right out of the way of this one too. All right, so pull back to the 50 flipped is one of the things I was just recommended. Let's see here. Do I have that scan? No. Now I do. All right, so we're going to do this together here. I'm going to give you this scan, load this scan, all right? And then we're going to flip that scan together. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to load it, copy, paste, load. So here's a top list, right? So this is pulling back to the 50. And now what we can do is right click. We're going to come to configure, and we're going to use the flip function here. All right. So we're just flipping everything here, essentially. We'll click OK. And there you go. Now you're looking to fade off the 50, bounce into the 50 and fade away. This will give you some good ideas in here. And let's see, they got something else for me. Yeah, go over the configure again. Yeah, so right click and you come to configure and you're going to press flip down here in the bottom right corner. Give you a little versatileness with the alerts. So if you have something that you like that's a long alert, you could always do that too. It doesn't always translate the same way, meaning that if you had a good alert for long buys, things like that, it doesn't necessarily mean flipped it'll be good for fading, but it's certainly a way to take a look at it like that. So I really thought maybe I'd get you something a little better with what we were messing around with here, but not really happening. I'm trying to mess with one other thing here. So let's see, position range on the day. And let's go with a minimum of 110, and I want to get rid of previous day's range and just see what that does. And that gives us nothing.
Basically, just a call, but tunnel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alrighty, so that gives us nothing, unfortunately, there. All right, sorry, so I have a meeting as well that I'm attending internally. Alrighty, sorry, they're talking bad about me in the meeting right now. All right, so let's see. That didn't work the way I thought it would work in here. Position days range, 5 day. Maybe let's get rid of the Bollinger Band and see if that works. And again, there's no other questions really coming in at the moment. So Chris is just going to work on this a little bit with you and see what we can come up with for you. And if anybody else has anything they want to add or they want to chime in, happy to go over any of that, of course. And still not a whole lot going on. All right, glad that you guys are getting something out. I'm sorry if I go silent for a moment here. Just every last Wednesday of the month or something like that, we have a meeting between all the support people here, so where we can chime in anything that's important. So I'm just trying to listen into them while I do this with you. Um, trying to think here. What can we adjust? Why am I not getting results from this? Let's get rid of that 5 day range. Interesting. But nothing from today. And in case you did not know, the 5 minute highs and 5 minute lows, they work in the pre and post market, as you can see here, because I'm East Coast time. So, so if you're ever wondering what's an alert I could use in the pre and post market, you can certainly work with those where a new high won't work in the pre and post market. And if you're ever, you're ever in need of a PDF of what works in the pre and post market, just send us an email here. .com. And the way it works is the PDF that we will send you, it'll just talk about regular market and pre-market. But essentially, if it works in the pre-market, it'll work in the post-market, with the exception of obviously pre-market high does not work in the post-market. You want post-market high. But as far as volume filters that work or range filters that work, those if it works in the pre-market, it works in the post-market. So that's how that goes. So a little bit miffed here on this, unfortunately. Thought this would be a little easier to build, do something simple, return some good ideas. But doesn't seem to really be doing. I also wondered today, because today sitting at all-time highs, things probably weren't really jumping off the charts today. Everybody kind of waiting around. So, nothing here. So, and again, I know there's just a few people in here, but if people have questions, please fire them away for me. One thing we could do here, instead of messing around with this, is this flipped move here. We could turn this into an alert window. So if you wanted to do that, this is how we do that. So to turn a top list into an alert window, it's a collab link or a collaboration link. So if we were to right click, you come to collaborate. We're going to right click here and copy this URL. All right. Press OK. Now we can right click here, come to collaborate. Get rid of the link that's in there. All right. And we're going to add the link that we copied from here to there. We're going to press OK. And now it says pull back above 50 SMA. All right. And then we come to configure, because an alert window needs an alert or event. So right now it's going with a heartbeat. I highly recommend against heartbeats. You're welcome to do what you want, but a heartbeat is essentially the same as a top list anyways. So if you're going to use a heartbeat, you might as well use the top list, in my opinion. And let's throw the new low in here and see what this might get us. All right. Now we don't have a time on that, so we're going to come to configure and we're going to add time as a column. All right. Now you can press OK. And we're going to move. Oops, I clicked type, not time. Bad eyes. There we go. Now we've got time. And here we go. Let's run the history on this and see what we got today. Whoa, a lot coming through there. Good amount anyways. So, not a bad alert. That worked out pretty well right there. All right, so we look like we might be onto something with this one here. Very nice. Now we're cooking here. Oh wow. I'm sure we're going to get some that don't look good, but so far so good with this here on some of these earlier alerts. Just want to click through a few more of these and see what we get here. Now, the original NVAX alert actually came here. Much nicer with that 150 level. Really nice. All right, so this looks very promising. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click one or two more alerts just to check some things out. Some of these are repeats, so let's see what Bud. Another decent move there. Not too shabby here. All right. Absolutely. So to share the URLs, right click. I'm going to go save or share to cloud. All right. We're going to go save and share. It's going to give me a URL right here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to drop it in the chat for you all right now. And there you go. So there we go. We made it with that flipped. Pretty good scan for shorting. And we can say this about that too. In the early morning, the market was all choppy and sideways. Looking at the SPY here, so it wasn't too much to do with the market on some of these. All right. Now, probably later day alerts in it are going to look really good because you had that happen. That's, as they say, a rising tide lifts all boats, or, well, a sinking tide will sink all boats. But that's pretty solid, actually, looking there today. Now, is it going to look like that every day? Not sure. Yeah, you're very welcome. And this is what I do this for. Any small crowd in here, and, hopefully as time goes on, I pick up some more people. But if I can reach a few people a week, get them a little more educated on the software, and get anybody that's struggling with the software, get you over the hump with trading, I consider that a win. I'd like to see as many people be successful trading as can be. There's plenty of room for everybody. So I'm just poking around a couple more of these for fun. So this one, there we go. There's our first loser. Now, I'm one of those people that's shorting things under $10. I'm kind of like, A nice alert right here. Not so much there. So, all right. Well, anyways, that looking pretty good. So, yeah, you guys are welcome. Appreciate you being in here. It's much nicer when I'm, doing things with everybody in here. Now, the one other thing that Michael had messaged me and said to share with you all is in here. You're looking for short stuff. Are you familiar with our ME window, our Market Explorer window? If not, what I'm going to do is show you this right here. So new, come to Market Explorer, all right? And it's going to give you this window right here. If you right click and you go to server window, we've got bear flags, and we have daily RSI divergent shorts too. So you can load one of those scans up too and start to go through what's in here for plays, all right? So, see what you find in here. And these are daily alerts, so you're going to see, the date when they're coming in. Need the code behind the window? Yeah, well, you and me both. I don't think Michael will be releasing that one. These were not easy. You did not come by these to point at your own symbol. There'll be some customizations to this at some point, but first we just wanted to get it out there to everybody. What and when the customizations will be, I couldn't possibly tell you, unfortunately. So, but take a look at some of these here. Not too bad here. Fade from this from yesterday. All right, gap down today. And these are more daily plays. Doesn't mean that they're not playable intraday. This one came in today. Solid move from that. Right off the open the whole day. Yeah, this one was all right for a minute here. Would have put you in some pain for sure. But, you notice also rejected right around $13 too. So that's that. So, all right. So those are, a couple different things to work with as far as going short here. Let's get rid of that window. As I always say, I always say, it's open for them. So if you guys have questions, fire them away for me here. If not, I'll come up with something to say. leave that support meeting there. They were in my ear. They're all talking about cryptocurrencies in there, and I have no idea. Yes, Chris, that's on the new beta. You got to have 5.5.47 to have that. So, all right, now I got a little more attention, a little more focus on here. Had to make sure I wasn't going to miss anything important, any announcements or anything like that with our support internal meeting. So, we didn't cover anything from Holly. Here's an unfortunate one. Jump on, and I like to be true and honest with Holly, the good and the bad. All right. This was a beautiful alert yesterday. Got a gap up and go, and just rode up all day long. And I'll be honest, I thought there might have been a little bit more on this today, and there was just a fraction here off the open there. Maybe better shown here, and just kind of topped out. And as a trader's eye, a trader's mind, you saw that it struggled at $30 yesterday. So you knew that was going to be a struggle today. It was a struggle, and it faded right off that 30 level for the rest of the day. So the good, the bad, and the ugly with Holly. So one alert, beautiful, same symbol the next day, not as much, but it happens. That's the way it goes. We did hit this one real quick. We said just an unfortunate thing. She gets topped out up here, but just a great fade the rest of the day here. I mean, exactly what you want to find. And again, second mouse gets the cheese type of thing. So, maybe you're using a price alert. You're setting it here at the stop after she got stopped out, or you reset it here back at the entry saying, I'm going to take a stab here at the entry. If it gets back to that a second time, both would have been obviously great. And what like every trade, what you're looking for is you're never shorting from there and you're never buying it back from here. I'm not saying never, but that's not the likely scenario. But getting a piece of this in the middle here, that's what's realistic. And that's what we're looking for. All right. We're looking to put ourselves in the best possible positions. She tried this one twice, pull back long and breakout long from Holly Neo and Holly Grail. You can see why she was doing it, but unfortunately, just wasn't having it here on this big wick. That was interesting. Just faded off that, but she tried to grab it here on these pullbacks, and unfortunately, the pullback just kept rolling on us. So very liquid stock. But something to note. A lot of these things there's a lot of volume involved in them. So watching them the next couple of days, who knows what you're going to find. You'd say here, you're looking at some support in this range right here. So it might be something we set an alert for tomorrow. All right. You can see it trying to close strong here at the end too, when the market was giving it up. You got earnings that are affecting it and things like that. So we keep these things in mind, all part of the puzzle that we're putting together as traders. We look here, closing 15 minutes here of the overall market, really giving it up. And this is, not closing, the closing hour of the market, where the closing hour on the stock was actually recovering. So, what does that mean for tomorrow? It means it's interesting. It means it's something to definitely watch. That's for sure. And so we talked about this SPAC, and here it goes in the after hours. Something's happening. This thing is going nuts. So here we go. That's pretty beautiful right there. What's going on? Who knows? But I mean, that options volume just continues to climb today. Just batty. Guess I should have taken that one, huh? So Chris, if you want to upgrade, you can come to the download page. All right. Let me bring up a web page for you. All right. So if we come here, trade-ideas.com, download software. I go over this a couple different times. I did it yesterday. You're going to have the beta version the production version up at the top. If you haven't upgraded in a while from, 4.2.182, that was the last production version. You have all these changes that have happened since that last production version. All right. So it's a good idea to take a look at all this stuff here, even if you just kind of skim it. All right. It goes over docking and things like that. Some issues, with the E-Trade's API, their API is broken. We fixed it the best we can for E-Trade. We're still working on it. and all these little things like that. Then as you scroll down, you come to the beta version now. All right. And in the beta, everything that was in the production applies, plus this stuff here. All right. And that's where you're going to find we can now colorize charts and customize all that kind of stuff. And you get the Market Explorer too. All right. So those are just some of the new features that are coming in here. We've added the formula editor that you can get to it easier instead of just going to the home page and logging into your account through the home page. All right. Some other Brokerage Plus additions that are in there as well. So that's where you can do that. Here's a link for that if you want. Copy and paste. Now, for some people, there's been a slowdown on their charts. Some people are more affected than other people, so I'm not really sure what to make of that. I'm not a developer, but we know there's some people seem to have a bottleneck of data on their charts where, we're coding it out. You can see sometimes my charts load slow, but I'm also running a Vonage phone, this Trader Workstation, streaming, some other help software, and, a few other things here with a whole bunch of tabs open. So, all things considered with all that stuff running, I don't think that's too bad, but other people seem to be much slower than what I'm showing you here, unfortunately. So, but we're working on a bottleneck of data with those charts. We know it's there. And we're giving people the option to go back to the previous version if they want. So, you can just always ask for that. It's a forward-moving software, though. So if you ever do decide you're going back a version, you have to uninstall the version you're on now to go backwards. You do not have to uninstall to go forwards, though. So that's how that kind of works. So anyways, we covered some of the mixed stuff from Holly there. Take a look at this one here. And coming from the short side again. And not too bad of a move here. Pretty nice. She gets out on a profit save there. The interesting part is my max profit. Now, the way I have this set up is that it's simulating like if I was risking $100 based on the stop loss. So that stop loss was way up here. Probably using a daily range filter or something for that stop loss is what my guess is. And so based on that stop loss, I would have only taken 12 shares, which is, I don't think anything someone trading would realistically do. But, like I said, this is set up for Holly. It's not set up for any one specific trading plan. But really nice alert, this whole thing overall. You were not going to be hampered by the uptick rule by trying to get in here. So you're within that. You're already down. You come range bound. You could even say that's a bear flag right here. Here's your flag pulled down. Here's your flag move up, and then your release afterwards. So pretty technical, pretty textbook bear flag that's on that. It's going to have volume. You can see that before market open today, earnings. You got that right here as well. You guys will have that on the chart very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. So we knew it was going to be active. 19 mil shares traded today, doing 8 times its relative volume. So, all good stuff there as far as that's concerned. So, Holly doing it more on the short side today, a little more success on the short side. BYD is on the long side. Let's take a look here. Not too shabby of alert. And we run into kind of the same thing, 56 shares there. If I was simulating based on $100 stop, $100 risk on the stop loss, that's way down here. Grabbing it on this candle, not too bad of a move. You were never really in trouble off this alert. You wick down to here before catching those moving averages and making a move back up. So not too shabby. So, there's great stuff from Holly. Like I said, as I kind of went on my tear about the automation of Holly at the beginning of this, do I think you can make money automating Holly? Yes. Are you going to make money every day automating Holly? Absolutely not. That's just, being realistic. Anybody that is interested to see that video that I discussed that I did about setting up Holly and automation, some realistic things to look at, I will share that video out right here. Now, in the video, I go over setting Holly in our simulator. But the same concept applies if you're doing our simulator or if you're doing it live in IB or E-Trade. And what I mean by that is, when you come to connect, instead of selecting interactive brokers, or excuse me, instead of selecting simulated trading, you select IB or E-Trade. I know you see Alpaca, I know you see Ameritrade. They don't work. If they did, I'd be using them. So you're going to make that connection there. I'm going to do it to the simulator just for this example here. All right. And then when you come to Holly, in the video I go over, it's the same thing. You're going to right click, long trading instructions. And in here, you're going to choose your account. All right. Edit account. You come here and it's going to have the accounts that are in here. All right. That you can connect to. And so if you're doing IB, your IB account will show here. If you're doing E-Trade, your E-Trade account will show here, and you're going to save it. All right. And then you're going to set up the rest of the stuff. How are you position sizing? Are you just buying a fixed amount of dollars of the stock? Are you buying a fixed amount of shares? Are you doing it based on the stop loss? You're going to enter the value there. Are you taking a market order, a limit order? If you're taking a limit order, what's your offset going to be? And time and force, how long you're leaving that order out there. You do that for that takes care of setting up all the longs, and a right click and edit short trading instructions. And then you do the same thing on the short side, edit all the short stuff, attach the account. All right. And then here you still see them off, and you can either go one by one, right click, enable selected strategy, or you could click, drag, get the group, and enable 12 selected strategies. All right. And, in the video, I did kind of go over, is it a day where it's gapping up? You don't want to be in anything short? Or do you think it's a day where it's gapping up and it's going to be a good day to fade? So you do want to be in things short? These are the things that, having a trader, having a trader's mind and a knowledge of the markets, they can't be accounted for by an artificial intelligence. It's programmed to do what it does. It has machine learning. It optimizes, it backtests every single day. But she doesn't know that the Fed's going to release minutes today. We don't have a way to scan for that. She doesn't know that there was an election in Turkey that affected some currency that rolled over and affected the energy markets today. That's not the level that this AI is at yet. You never know. So anyways, that's the short and skinny of my Holly rants. We're coming to almost the 4:30 mark. So if there's any last minute questions that are here, please fire them away. Otherwise, I'm going to begin to wrap things up. I see, a few more people have joined us, unfortunately, towards the tail end of this here. We do this every day, 3:30, the same link that brought you here. Live Q&A for Trade Ideas software, but, no trading questions off limits as far as stocks go. I'd say no trading questions off limits in general, but I don't really have an options knowledge. So, my knowledge resides in stocks only. I will also say that this room opens every day at 9 o'clock Eastern on this YouTube channel for Trade Ideas. Barry runs it most of the day. We have a live Q&A that's similar to this at noon Eastern every day. Gets shut down at 3 o'clock every day, and I open back up at 3:30 every day. So, you didn't catch us today. You got all day tomorrow and all day Friday and into the next week. And like I said, I'm doing this 5 days a week here as a late day Q&A. We go over charts, we go over scanning, we go over back testing, we can go over Holly, we go over the markets, whatever you want. All right. I do this for you. I drone and babble on when you guys aren't giving me questions or content to work with. So hopefully you find any of my ramblings educational, informational, and moving it forward in a positive direction. So, all right, I don't see any other questions coming in, so I'm going to wind it down. Like I said, if you were just joining us, we'll be back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. I'll be doing this. Again, this broadcast opens at 9 o'clock Eastern every morning. The channel, the stream changes themes a few times throughout the day, so there's a little something for everybody in this. So, all right, I thank everybody for watching. Thank you for the questions, the comments, the feedback, and we will catch you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday evening. Bye-bye now.